special backseat critique and a seat that is further back than most. Yell, everyone, otherwise they can't hear us because we're on this side of the room. What did we see?
We went and saw The Hobbit.
That we did. Well, The Hobbit 2, let's not make them think we're a year behind here. Or a year ahead.
Wait, there's a second one?
You think those are 3D glasses? That's not 3D glasses. These are 3D glasses. These ones are for Thor the Dark World. They're all green and gold and shit.
Whoa, it's like the camera's coming right at me.
It is. Okay.
I have ones upstairs I stole from the Star Trek ride in
You see those?
Disney.
God, they're hideous. But anyway, we should probably get to The Hobbit.
So, yeah, we've been told this has to be quick, so it's going to be quicker than usual. For
There
me,
was
Well, considering
no
it's the Amanda Hagan thing, yeah.
I'm gonna be doing another vlog for The Hobbit with Omega once I get to hers in about a week and a half. So, go to her thing in about 2 weeks. See what happens. But it'll be different. Okay. What do you think of The Hobbit?
I felt it was better than the first. The first really, really, really needed to find itself some pacing, and this one did. It didn't feel overly long, though there's still a lot of material that can be cut.
There was no singing.
That is not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, for my non-spoiler review, I honestly preferred the original, the first part.
Wait, non-spoiler review? There's someone who hasn't read this book?
I haven't read it.
What the hell?
I'm not a big fiction reader. I know bits about it, but I haven't read it.
You didn't even listen to the audio tapes?
Possibly years ago in the car with Father, yes.
Listen to them constantly as a child.
But yeah, for the the first part's non-spoiler, so preferred the first one. It was fine. A lot of my issues with it are very similar to my issues
We
with the
can
first
spoil
one.
the first one, right? I mean, it's been a year.
If you want to, we're going to spoil we're going to have a cutoff point where we're going to put spoilers in.
Okay,
this
guys,
is just an
spoiler alert here. Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Okay.
Just
He was a ghost all along.
So this is okay.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
This is the end of the spoiler-free part for The Hobbit. Sorry about the other spoilers. Go if you want to see it. This is what we thought.
Yeah, it's worth going to see.
I-
Wait until the crowds die down a little.
And now we're going to bitch about it.
Bitch.
Yeah, in particular parts, like.
Well, a little bit.
Why
so
the
we're
fuck
bitching.
did they have the guy getting hit with an arrow, which was just a poison arrow, hit by a fucking orc, and then it acts exactly like a Morgul blade, which was a magical blade in Fellowship of the Ring, and it's so similar. They have to get the same fucking thing. Ooh, that's a weed in order to cure him.
The whole
That's
point
fucking
was
ridiculous.
to link back. Also, they wanted
Magical
to push,
sword used by the thing just as potent as a poison arrow
They
used by an
also
orc.
wanted to push the shoehorned relationship in there.
It wasn't just shoehorned; she was shoehorned literally.
No, so was Legolas and all that.
Legolas is fine. He was from the books.
He was not in.
Not the Hobbit. He
He was
was.
not in The
He was
Hobbit.
in Lord of the Rings, so that's fine.
Oh, that's not
He's
fine.
He's the son
Don't
of.
suggest it's fine to just throw in
If
characters
you-
from
if you're
Lord of the
gonna
Rings.
if you're gonna extend the stuff from the book, which they were gonna do, it was perfectly natural to have Legolas turn up because he's son of Thranduil.
Can I
Thranduil.
point out she is in the book?
Is she?
She just has a much smaller part where she's one of the guards that can bring
Oh.
them in.
Okay, fair enough.
They just gave her
Aha!
a bigger part.
Defeated!
And we just say Thranduil is the exact point where elf meets bitchy drag queen. I would love to see Thranduil on RuPaul's Drag Race.
But I mean,
That would be amazing.
one of the things I kind of liked and kind of hated at the same time was Bilbo had the biggest kill count of all of the party. I mean, whenever you take into account all the spiders, you take into account what he did in other parts, he killed
Holy
more.
shit, you're
Not
right.
to mention, he's the only one who actually did anything for the party in the entire film.
He's the only one who has a fucking brain.
Nobody. I mean,
See,
he
like,
saved
got to the
them
door.
at
Oh
the
my
beginning
God.
of the film. He got them, saved them in Mirkwood. He saved them in the Elven Palace.
Didn't he do that in the
He
book?
got them into the
Not in
into the
Mirkwood.
mountains.
They've done it themselves.
He did that, but that in itself's a good thing because the first film it was about Bilbo being crap and being saved, and this one it's more him coming into his own but maybe too much of it. It made everyone else appear really crap.
Omega's gonna bitch about it.
Not to mention when they were getting into the skin changers guy's house. Let's push at the door, push at the door, push at the door. Foreign comes in, pushes the little lock up, and they all run in. It's like, seriously, you didn't notice that?
Yeah.
Also, what the hell's the point of a little lock on the outside of the door? It's just me.
It's a latch.
What do they want to latch on the outside of a door's house?
Well, considering there was livestock in there, that's logical, so the livestock don't get out.
I was more thinking there's probably a lock.
Well, on the inside there's a rope to pull that's further up, so that the livestock can't reach it, unless they get really inventive and make a little cow sheep mouse pyramid.
This is a world,
It's a magical
with,
world, dude.
with locks. There should be a key.
It's a magical world.
A magical world with locks.
Speaking of the key, sweet dear Jesus, how quickly they gave up.
Yeah.
Also, the keyhole changed shape between shots.
Yeah, my logic for them would have been, what do you really want to climb down the giant fucking Assassin's Creed statue
In the middle of the night. That was my
on a
thought too.
cloudy day, on a cloudy night?
But all they wanted to do was get that shot with a key.
Yeah.
And then Thorn slowly crouching down, looking like
And
he
it
shit
all
himself.
magically coming along beside him. There's a lot of that in a bad way.
This film is, if dwarves were real people, as in the magical fantasy dwarves, if they were real, this film would be fairly racist. Because they're all portrayed as stupid, greedy, shit. They can't even fight, like, Gimli, this one of the major problems with the first one was that Gimli gets a bigger kill count in the Fellowship of the Ring than all of the dwarves combined in this. And some of these guys are meant to be fucking warriors, like Dwalin. Dwalin's looking, he's like a Klingon dwarf, and yet they're all shit. And Balin's like an experienced warrior, and it really bothered me. But
What was the one who done the little barrel spin?
that was Beaufort.
That was so silly, it wasn't funny.
When
But it was very funny.
whenever that finished, I sort of gave it a little clap and leaned over to Neil and said, "Well done, Obelix."
One thing that
So
I
yeah,
thought...
we can confirm that physics is still missing in Middle Earth.
Completely. One thing that I did like was after Bilbo saved them from the spiders to get the ring back, there's the feeling of him it's starting to get its hold on him. But on top of that, it was
Kill you, baby
was
spider!
killing
the
the
fact that he
baby.
went absolutely mad shit
he
at the
went
bloody
mad and
spider.
killed a baby spider.
That was
And then
a
you had
baby
the shot
spider?
of
Yes,
him
it was.
realizing, yeah.
It was a
And then
baby.
there was the shot of him realizing what he had done and this look of horror on his face. And it was like, more of that, please.
Well, it was fine with him killing a baby spider because he was going to
The
become
way-
a big spider
The
eventually.
way he killed it, and there's the whole feeling of baby innocence.
Savagery.
It was not a real threat, and he savagely
kind of
killed
was.
it.
Actually, that wasn't a baby spider. That was a trap door
That
spider.
was a baby spider.
Half the spider was still in the trap door.
Baby
That was
spider.
too big.
Baby spider.
No,
Too big.
I think it was the same type of spider. It was just a baby one because of the different colouring and that. In fact, it looked smaller and stuff. I think that it was, but I could be wrong. Like the first one, it's definitely got the prequel trilogy issues like from Star Wars because there's way too much CGI compared to not enough practical.
You already know who's going to live and who's going to die.
See, this is if I was in charge of this, that is one of the alterations I would make. I would have put Gimli into the group of dwarves because that would have made a more direct connection to the Fellowship, and the way we've got it right now, none of these dwarves who survive are nice enough to help out with the Fellowship. None of them.
They're all old.
Killing Filinol, 60 years, they'd be middle-aged. They're not killing Nori and all.
Well,
There's-
talking about
don't worry,
spoilers there.
the ones who survive, there are some young ones who survive and they decide not to help. So if they had Gimli in there, and plus then you would have a direct connection. You would have the idea that none of the dwarves are so fucking ungrateful that they won't help out Middle
But
Earth.
of course, the Fellowship's a different thing. They were sent as representatives. Gimli was sent as a representative and formed the Fellowship. They were fighting up the north. Stuff was going wrong up there.
Plus, I honestly would have killed several of the dwarves each film. One of the important things with Lord of the Rings is that
Enough of them are going to die in the next one.
they killed. They killed Sean Bean in the first one. Part of the reason they killed him, Boromir, I know that it was in the book, but one of the great things about killing
that would be the main
Boromir
reason.
at the end of the first film was that it actually made, oh shit, things are real, people can die, and the rest of them. Right now, the dwarves seem to be immortal because they keep surviving. I know this is going to be.
It's only the elves who die.
Yeah, in the next one, this will be revealed to be not the case. But if we would have had more of a palpable sense of danger if several of them died.
It's true. I mean, it would have been probably better if they killed off. Was it Keely or Feely?
The one who got the arrow.
Keely.
He's going to die anyway.
They killed them off. I mean, I was thinking he's going to go up the guys. Then they could have just killed them. There and then.
Well, then they wouldn't get
backs.
the shoehorned romance.
Yeah, but
with
the
elf.
shoehorned romance in itself could have been strengthened by the fact he died and the reactions and all that.
This is another one of my issues. The dwarves, as explained in the Two Towers Extended Edition, the dwarf women have beards. I do not logically see why a dwarf man would fall in love with an elf woman. A dwarf man would be more likely to fall in love with a big person who looks more like a dwarf woman.
He has strange taste.
It would be Aragorn.
That is his personal preference,
for
and you should not judge him. You should not judge him.
I'm just thinking of the dimorphism thing. Keely,
he has strange taste.
Gimli does the same thing.
Everyone has their own taste.
Gimli does the same thing with Galadriel. So what I'm thinking is both of them.
But that's
every
different.
single dwarf who appears to be have sexuality in these movies is the dwarf equivalent of a furry.
That's very different. Galadriel, it wasn't a romantic thing. It was pure awe of complete and pure beauty. That was the whole point of Galadriel. But moving on,
It's just kinky, and it's
Bilbo.
No, I'm not quite finished. What I want,
Okay.
they put Toriel in there as a main character, so they can have an Ass King one, which was one of their ideas for the Fellowship trilogy, which they didn't put in with Arwen.
Thank God.
And I have the same issues which I would have had with Arwen. I think it would be much more logical, and I've said this in my vlog for the previous one, done mostly in America. They should have made several of the dwarves chosen at random women. Played by men, they just use female pronouns, and you have Gandalf has a line explaining that not all species look the same. And yes, they are women, you should not judge a book by its cover. There you go. Because dwarf women have beards, and they're so similar to dwarf men, other outsiders can't fucking tell. That's what they staged in the Two Towers. And in this one, they're making dwarf women look like women, and it's really fucking bothering me.
But with the corpses, there wasn't a single one of the women that had a beard.
I know, they did this in The Hobbit. They completely rewrote what they did in the Two Towers, because I'm thinking Peter Jackson is afraid of having any possibility of queerness.
What? How do you get to that?
Because
it's more confusing film goers. I mean, a lot of these people, it's 10 years ago since the Two Towers came out.
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
It's almost certainly he's removed that, because it would be an additional thing he has to explain, and for Christ's
very
sake,
easily.
He's already got 9 hours worth of films.
He's got very easily to explain. And he would
not
not have to shoehorn in Toriel.
He didn't shoehorn in Toriel for that reason. But
to have a woman, killing things, that makes it more equal, which is why she was there.
Perfect place to put it in.
He was in there because they wanted
when
more
the elf
Legolas.
opens the locket to show his wife and son.
Yeah.
He could have made the elf making a sarcastic reference to bearded women.
Yeah.
And then one of the dwarves explained it to Bilbo just with.
Gimli with
That's
a
how
beard
it
as
could
well.
have been done. I'm not saying it should have.
I'm saying
this is
I'm not
logical
saying
from
been done.
from the way things are set up.
A distraction. It was a throwaway comical line in the first film. To throw it in there would be a distraction.
It indicates that that Peter Jackson is okay with making that sort of thing a joke, but not okay with including it in the universe properly, which is
because it's
not
simple.
very good.
It's simple to make a joke. It's not simpler to build it into the fabric of the film.
No, it wasn't in the main release.
I think that would have been more in keeping with the universe way of handling it. Although in my own head canon, Dory, the dwarf, who was the one in the first one who offered Gandalf a cup of tea, he was quite in my head canon, Dory's a woman, or at least gay. I'm not sure which.
Okay, that's a bit random to throw.
He was fan in the first one. He was very fan.
So someone who acts feminine is gay now? I'm wondering here about your position here.
No, this is just so I can have one of the dwarves in my head canon being either a woman or gay.
Great, you just randomly create canon that doesn't exist.
It's called head canon.
Yeah.
It's not
whatever.
You never come across the term of head canon?
No, and I don't want to.
Basically, you create
Yeah,
your
we
own
move
theories.
on.
Yes, your own
before
theories.
this entire vlog becomes that.
But you're entirely fine. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not discounted by what's done in the actual work.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah,
Sherlock is a dragon.
Yeah, that's always fun. Sherlock.
The dragon was done really well. The animation on it was rather impressive.
Speaking of Smaug, Yes, I'm Mr. Bilbo Baggins. I have a ring that makes me invisible and has no downsides at all so far.
That I know about.
I'm going to go into a dragon's lair and not put it
And
on.
make it-
Well, actually,
And it's an even harder dragon's lair to get into than the famous video
when the
game.
dragon was looking for him, it compelled him to take the
Yeah,
ring
but
off.
he didn't put it on until after A, he saw the
And
dragon.
he took it off
It
again.
then walked away from it, trying to escape it, and noticing it moving a lot until it actually woke up.
Yeah.
And he knew it was definitely woke up. He didn't think, oh, I'm going to put this magical ring on that makes me
Special
invisible.
effects are expensive.
Yeah, that too.
I want to complain about Benedict Cumberbatch. Not only did he take a role from an Indian actor to play Khan, now he's taken a
let's
role.
not bring that
Now
up
he's
again.
taken a role from a dragon actor in playing Smaug, and he's played a role from like a disembodied evil spirit actor to play fucking Sauron. It's like, Benedict, stick to white guys.
Do we have any dragon actors in the world?
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but they're unions, bitch.
Okay.
I want to know why
Nonsense.
why they were like Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay, we want you to do the voice, but we also want you to do the motion capture. On the face, I can understand, but it's like, oh, I'm going to do the body as well. Excellent. It's like, why?
I'm pretty sure they didn't do motion capture.
No, they
of the
did.
person.
They did. He did the body motion capture for Smaug, and I'm not entirely sure how they did. I kind of read
Why?
about it.
Didn't they put mocap on a reptile?
I don't know.
Okay, you can a reptile to do what you want. Good luck.
We could have had Derpy in the movie.
If you're gonna have the it's, face, I can understand. They did that with the Goblin King. What weirdly with the Goblin King in the first one, they had Barry Humphries' face mocap, but none of his body. I don't know why. And they used his voice, but for this one, they used his body as well. Unless I've misread shit.
Maybe it was just for the hands.
It's still.
That was really not a humanoid movement whenever he was crawling over the gold.
It definitely doesn't.
Maybe because they did a lot of shots of his claws curling around things, so I'm thinking that's probably what it done.
Even in real films, they don't. If you have a close up of like an actor's hand doing a movement, they don't usually use the actor's hand. So it's just like, I really don't understand. I hope I've misunderstood this, and Peter Jackson's just not like going, I can put extra Benedict Cumberbatch in my film. I'll get him to play the Necromancer. I'll get his hands to play everyone else's hands. In fact, I'll get like close-ups of Elrond's hands, and it'll be his. In fact, why don't I make him play Saruman as well? He can play the house.
Just to really get most out of his paycheck. But yeah, plot-wise, it's the same. It's the continuation. They're throwing in more Silmarillion stuff.
No, they didn't.
Sure, they did the whole necromancer.
No, that's
bullshit.
not Silmarillion. The rights are owned by Christopher Tolkien, and he refuses to sell because he hates films.
I'm pretty sure that was part.
No, it was from the Lord of the Rings appendices.
Okay, from the
That's what they have.
appendices.
That's what they've got. They don't have the Silmarillion.
Gandalf doing the whole necromancer thing was unnecessary. And what was the
No, it
point?
wasn't.
What was the point of the constant zoom-ins on Sauron's eye?
Yeah, that was a weird
That was like,
directional
what the
choice.
That
hell?
was solely for 3D.
That was so we could get we could make really work out that the eye is actually Sauron standing in flame for some reason. Dun dun dun. Rather than just an eye.
Here's a question that was going through my mind during that whole sequence. What race was Sauron?
He's like
Was he an elf? Was he a man?
No,
No,
he's
he
a
wasn't.
Maiar.
Yeah.
He's a Maiar, which are like a.
He was
Okay.
a servant of the first great evil, and
Yeah,
kind of
Morgoth.
brought him down.
Okay, there was like the god of Middle Earth, Ilúvatar, I think, and then you had Melkor, the evil one. Then Sauron was a Maiar who worked for Ilúvatar, who then joined him and then took over and became the great evil. And Gandalf is a Valar, which is one below a Maiar. So he's an angel. He's like, and then Sauron started off as like a greater angel, and now he's the devil. Killed the devil and took over, basically.
Fair enough.
I might have got some of the names wrong there, but I know little bits about the cosmology of Middle Earth, and shut up, I'm not a nerd.
You're not a nerd, my hours.
I'm more interested in the film universe than the book
Now,
universe.
it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. The next film.
Isn't the rest of it kill Smaug? That's a bunch of armies kill.
Yeah, I mean, basically the rest
Billy
of the
Connolly
book is
becomes king.
kill Smaug, complain a little while hiding out in the mountain, and a lot of armies fight, and then he goes home.
And Billy Connolly becomes king.
I expect there's going to be some retrospect at the end. But I mean, a lot.
Possibly an hour and a half of Bilbo returning home and realizing how much he's changed.
They're gonna
God, let's hope not.
like Christopher Lee will take over the Shire and scour it and stuff.
Yeah, because they didn't fit it into the first one.
And Frodo, they'd be like, "Oh, hello, Bilbo. I'm your cousin. Here, or I'm your sister, or whatever. Here's my son Frodo. Bye bye."
I expect them. They might well do that. Yeah.
Baby Frodo or something. They'll probably do something like that.
At least they didn't get on as many narcotic jokes with Radagast this time.
Radagast, get rid of the character, please. Get rid of him.
I'm feeling this right. I just wish he was less comedic.
So stupid.
He wasn't actually comedic in this film. The only thing they really did was the bird and the hat, and that was it.
Yeah, I didn't like that stuff. I really wish he had a proper wizard's hat, and he was because all of the wizards are meant to be like angelic figures, and so was Radagast. Radagast's problem in the book was he got distracted by looking after like little animals rather than doing his part to kill Sauron. And Seth MacCoy was a fine choice to play him. It's just they're being a bit silly with him.
Also, they really, really, really tried to dance around the fact that the Nazgul had come back, but they really just didn't want to outright say it.
That was pretty obvious.
I know it's pretty obvious, but they didn't actually want to say it. It was like, there are 9 holes. What were they? They were 9.
Men without names because it was so long ago.
They can only be known as a servant of
I
evil.
was thinking, it was like 2,000 years or 1,000 years beforehand when the 9 were kings. So their names should have been known, at least in history books.
Probably scored out.
Yeah, but they tried that in ancient Egypt. We know the names of all the pharaohs. His names were knocked out because they couldn't get all the names. Difficult to remove.
Well, that civilization doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, you win. The Numenorians? The Numenorians?
Yeah.
It's other stuff, dude. If you're a serious archaeologist in Middle-earth, I bet you could find out the names of at least 4 of the
I
9.
don't care about archaeology.
Yeah!
Anyway, Lake Time was pretty cool. Interesting seeing Stephen Fry playing a wholly unlikable character.
Yes! That was brilliant!
Peter Jackson turned up in Bree eating a carrot again.
Exactly the same cameo.
He's like, must be the grandfather of his character in Fellowship. Oh, but the Lake Town thing, I don't know if this is possibly accidentally problematic, but the most racially diverse city in the entire of Middle-earth is apparently the one that's the biggest shithole.
Yeah.
That is true.
I get it's a trading post, or Dale used to be this massive
It used
trading
to be
post.
a massive trading post.
So I can understand racial diversity. That shit's going to happen anytime you got trading stuff, but you got all the black people in Middle-earth all living in the shithole.
It used to be
Oh
a
dear.
trading post, that's why.
I know, I think it's an accidental oh dear moment.
I wouldn't consider it oh dear at all.
It's like accidental bad subtext. It's just like, we're going to put all the black people in the horrible thing. It's like, it looks unfortunate.
They just had a wider casting pool
Like
than they
the
did for Lord of the
unfortunate
Rings.
thing of having all of the baddies black in the first film.
Yes. It's not I don't for a second think that Peter Jackson intends this to be how it can be read.
They had a much larger casting net for The Hobbit than they did for Lord of the Rings. If you recall, the Uruk-hai was a rugby team, and 2/3 of the Rohirrim were women with painted on beards.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that it's.
Maybe they were dwarves.
Yeah, I wouldn't for a second think Peter Jackson is racist or anything. What I think is that he might have not realised the subtext that he can put out there. Unfortunate implications, that's what TV Tropes calls it.
Unfortunate implication. Okay, that's fine. Someone who sees that implication is something wrong.
It's only an unfortunate implication if you think too much into it.
Yeah. And
I
if
think
you
about
you
things
can
too
think
much.
anything too much. It's more, I mean, even you noticing, not a problem. Someone actually thinking negatively of it is like, you really need to get out more. So,
Yes, you do. Get out.
rounding up.
Radagast was fine, although, I really want someone to do a video where you've got all of the cast of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and seeing which doctors could play each part, because Saruman could have been played by William Hartnell.
Really?
No, I thought about this, even Lord of the Rings.
I mean,
doing that.
really?
Why
Colin
let-
Baker would have been a great Denethor.
Why? Really? I mean, really? Let's not even get into that. Let's... Nicola!
Let's see how Gandalf will get out of the shenanigans without using eagles.
He'll be fine. Radagast will come and save him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Gandalf
Radagast.
is in a cage after he got his ass handed to him by a fiery ghost.
Gandalf is into that sort of thing.
Sections of this are really surreal after playing a lot of Assassin's Creed 4 because they have to go through like this on this boat and like the mist and there's rocks everywhere and it's just like some parts of the game. And then you got the people climbing up the giant dwarf statue, Assassin's Creed style. And then, of course, you got Gandalf in a gibbet, the same way your characters in Assassin's Creed 4. It's like...
I managed to glitch into one of those and I had to restart the game.
You start completely?
Yeah.
From the very start?
No, I had to turn the game off.
Oh, okay.
It was as I was attacking a fort, I managed to glitch into one of the games.
But it's just surreal. It's like Assassin's Creed 4 is following me now.
So,
Ninja pirates.
Shall we end up, round up and stuff?
Interesting film. Good CG on the dragon. Interesting scheme. The dwarves tried to kill him. There was CG where they really could have avoided CG. My biggest problem was the tapestry.
Yeah.
I really did not like the tapestry.
I put a couple of information. I know some information from behind the scenes, and I put it together why I think they used more CG. And it's because I think whenever they were filming it, they weren't entirely sure if there's going to be 2 movies or 3, so they were getting footage in green screen because if they used practical stuff, then they would be locked down in what they have to use the footage for. However, if they use footage with lots of green screen stuff, they can alter different things to put it in different parts of the film if necessary.
Yeah.
So that's what I think happened, rather than using practical, because it was quicker to film with it. Actually, I wish they didn't. I wanted to recreate the look of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy because it was much better looking.
They had the same problem with the dwarves in this film, whereas they didn't. Each of them doesn't really seem to have their own personality apart from one distinguishing trait. For example, that's the fat one. That's the old one who's leading them.
That's the Northern Irish one.
That's the guy with the ear horn. That's the fat one who seems to run faster than everyone else when there's a bear chasing him. Seriously, the fat one took over, just ran fucking past them all, and they're like running.
That's the one who played the 1950s sort of, leather-clad guy in Brain Dead.
It's the one who looks like Obelisk, if he was short.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really wish they'd kind of fleshed the dwarves out a little bit more.
And but visually they went the complete opposite, just like the first one. It's like they all look so fucking different that several of them don't even look like dwarves. They look so distinctive. Like, Thorin doesn't look like a dwarf, he looks like a short human. Keely doesn't look like a dwarf. Feely barely looks like a dwarf. Beaufort looks like a fucking ludicrous comedy dwarf. It's like the equivalent of having a bunch of elves in your film and giving several of them dreadlocks and green beards. Just because, so you can tell them apart visually.
Exactly.
Did
There's
I
so
mention
many of
my
them.
problem with Orlando Bloom?
I'm amazed he hasn't. He looks different from the other one. His face is a bit wider, although I don't think it's because of weight. I think it's just because of aging. Although it's amazing he's aged as little as he has.
He's forgotten the voice he used in the original trilogy. He sounds completely different.
Does he? I didn't notice
Yeah.
that. Bard the Bowman looks like Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean.
It
That's
does!
exactly what I thought.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, have they got him playing 2 characters? I was like, well, did they just dye his eyebrows? Oh yeah, henchman, monobrow.
But that being said, did we ever see them on the same screen at any time?
No.
Conspiracy theory.
Because the Bard was in prison whenever Orlando came and broke his house.
Exactly. He was in prison.
And the Bard, that was Luke Evans. He played Zeus in Immortals.
So he did.
He played Apollo in the Clash of the Titans remake.
Oh yeah, that was the guy I was convinced was Orlando Bloom, and you looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, no, I was confused.
They just look the same.
They do.
Okay.
It took me a while to catch on that was
And Thranduil was played by the lead from Fall. The stuntman who was telling the story. That's Thranduil. Lee Pace. So Peter Jackson's watched a lot of Tarzan Singh movies.
The fish barrel was a good scheme. I can't remember if that was in a book or not.
I can't remember. I'm really sad that because Christopher Lee was so old, they were not able to do stuff about him talking to Sauron as a subplot and him becoming corrupted. They could have really done that, but he's just so very old, and I doubt we're going to see him again in the films. Although with seeing him there and then we see him again in Fellowship, my thoughts, my head canon for that is talking to Sauron has made Saruman age backwards. He's got revitalized a bit through the power of Sauron. That's why he's more fit when you see him in Fellowship and younger.
Right. So yeah, bottom line, guys, enjoyable film. Watch it only if you've seen the first one, and read the book for God's sake if you haven't already done so. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. If you like the first one, then you'll like the second one. If you did any issues you had with the first one, you're going to find similar issues with this mostly. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Cats are fighting.
And it is nice that the wargs don't look like jackals anymore. Peter Jackson, circa about 10 years ago. What the fuck were you thinking? Two Towers, they looked like jackals.
They did. What?
What's the, no, sorry, hyenas. They look like hyenas. They're not even, you know, biologically accurate as hyenas, because they had massive penises. All of them, male and female.
Okay.
Again, you had to shoehorn that in, didn't you?
It really, really.
Why does it always come back to hyena penis?
Because people who don't know about this react like the way he did.
I knew exactly
You're like-
about it. So, yes.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Stop the cats eating each other.